It's been in the family since, we think, the First World War,
Right.
when the great Uncle Eric
Yes.
brought it back from Germany.
This was made by Bing, who was the greatest train maker of that period,
right.
Gebrüder Bing of Nuremberg. And one of the earliest British manufacturers, or initially retailers, was of course a company called Bassett-Loke, who you've probably heard of.
Yes.
Now, initially Bassett-Loke were simply retailers selling German trains. And what they and others got Bing to do was to make trains that were specific to the British market. Previously, you bought vehicles that were obviously German, and nobody minded. There was no sense of reality. But as the habit of having toy trains became quite widespread, people began to say, actually, why have we got these German trains? We want British trains. And so here we have a live steam locomotive, London North Western Railway, about 1902, 1905, 1906, that sort of date.
Okay.
And then we have a range of vehicles of a similar date, which are, in a sense, a random assortment. We've got a fish van, we've got this very nice car carrier, we've got a covered wagon, which has lost its route, and then we've got an open wagon for the Great Northern Railway. The logic of this is that this is a set that was in Britain long before the First World War, in about 1906, 1908.
Okay.
And maybe he did acquire it second-hand before, during or after the First World War.
Okay.
The rarity here is this. You probably knew that, did you?
I thought so, yeah.
Why do you think that?
Well, I'd never seen anything like it before.
I mean, that's the piece that any collector would not quite die for, but, you know, they'd be very, very keen, because you can imagine what's happened. The chains have got broken, you've got the flat wagon, the cars got separated, and somebody playing with it, they didn't bother to put it back together again.
Okay.
They become separate things. This becomes a toy car,
Yes.
that becomes part of the railway.
Yes.
Here, they're still united. Everything was made for the complete railway. And this is before anybody significant in Britain was in the business. Bassett-Loke then got going, and of course, between the wars in the early 20s, Frank Hornby starts his Hornby trains, but he's really the first mass manufacturer for the British market. What's it worth? Well, that one, in that condition, is probably to a collector about £100, £150. The fish fan, which is unusual, and again in very nice, virtually unplayed with condition, again I'd say 150, 200 for that. Let's deal with the locomotive, worn inevitably through the firing, but still a very nice detailed model, possibly retailed by an English company. I'm going to say sort of £800 for the locomotive. Now let's come to that. In relative terms, that is a very rare wagon. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say about £300, £400, £500 for that, simply because it is such a rarity. But it means that altogether, you've got getting on for £1,800, £2,000.
Yeah, a good investment then.